You told me more than once to show you my intention. My brain gets blocked at times, but now somehow I'll give you my attention.
Hi ladies, and welcome to today's video when you will get some serious motivation to declutter and organize some of your messy spaces in your house. We are tackling 3 areas in my house in this video: pantry, specifically the pasta and baking goods; living room cabinet, which is where my kids store all kinds of arts and crafts and lots of paperwork; and a junk drawer. So get ready.
You've got to know that I ain't a person who wants.
So the first project or space we are tackling is the pantry. And in my previous video, I did the lower portion of the cabinet. So you see like all the snacks and breakfast stuff, all that is nicely organized. And as I was doing that, I realized I still have my upper portion of that cabinet that has a lot of like baking goods and pastas that I need to organize. So I got another set of those containers, which I find to be absolutely amazing, and decided to tackle that section. As you can see, it's very disorganized. Everything is packed into that one container, which was not very practical when I was trying to use stuff because I had to pull everything down and then kind of find what I was needing. So right now I'm obviously starting with just pulling everything out of that so I can see what types of things I'm gonna put into that. I have lots of pastas, lots of baking goods, and lots of containers of different sizes, so I needed to kind of figure out what's the best fit for each. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Marta. I am a full-time working mom of 2, and the videos on my channels are meant to be motivational and encouraging for other working moms with respect to topics like time management and house management. So if this is something you are looking for, make sure that you subscribe down below. I am definitely on the decluttering and organization kick lately, so there's lots of similar content coming up. I'm also all about like finding out different ways and systems to make my life easier in the chaotic times that I have as a working mom trying to juggle my job, my house responsibilities, a side business. So a lot of that type of content definitely coming up on my channel. So as I was working my way through all the baking goods, I needed to make sure I do 2 things. One, I needed to label that right away because they all look very similar. All the flours, whether it's coconut flour, regular flour, they all look the same to me. So I wanted to make sure I label that as I am going. And the other thing I was doing on that little notepad, I was putting the expiration dates. So now that I knew what was in each box, I just wanted to take a note of the expiration date. And later on, you're gonna see me put a little note at the back of each container, specifically saying what is the expiration date. Because that is one of the things that I tend to forget in the past, is to actually put down when things expire, because once it is out of the box goes obviously into the trash, and then I never know when things expire. So just a little tip if you're transferring things into container, to make sure that either put it in the back of the box when they expire or have a notepad somewhere else. But from my experience, if I put it not directly on the box, it's definitely gonna get lost. And as I was putting all those things into different containers, I realized how little baking I have been doing over the summer. Let me know if you are the same way. I feel like summers are so extremely busy with all kinds of fun things that we do outside of the house that I don't have as much time for baking. I feel like baking kind of comes back in the fall and during winter time, but during summertime, I just don't do it as often. So let me know if you are the same way in your house. But that is definitely something that I was thinking about as I was putting those things away that I miss baking. And I need to slowly start getting back to it because it's definitely something that I enjoy doing.
A million people in the crowd, but I only see your face in all the lights. And as the bass keep pounding on me, baby, I really wanna make you mine. I don't really care about love. I don't really care about happy ever afters. Something about you gives me hope. Something about you, yeah. When the sun goes down.
There were also a few other things that I was putting in those containers, and those were some snacks and nuts. And I was doing that because last time I ran out of the containers, so now that I had a few extra ones, I wanted to just make sure that I have as many things as I can in the containers, so it's just easier to find things in a pantry.
When the sun goes down and the night sky's falling, do you believe in one-time lovers? 'Cause deep inside of my wildest dreams, you'll be by my side. When the sun goes
as I am editing this video, I realized how long it has taken me to actually organize everything, but I am extremely happy with the end product. Everything looked so much nicer in those containers. I had those dates over here, so the next thing for me was to actually put those dates in the back of the containers, so that is what you're gonna see next. But doesn't it just look so much nicer right now than it did previously in all those little bags and other containers? Let me know if you find it also satisfying when you are done with your organization project and you see how far you have come, how much nicer things look like, because that is definitely something that is motivating me when I am doing those projects, because they do take a long time, but it is so nice to look at your end product. I will also sometimes find myself when I'm finished with a project to kind of go back for the next few days and open that cabinet or a closet, whatever I have been organizing, and kind of admire my work, if you will, just kind of have this feeling of satisfaction come back to me, a few days down the line. So I know it might sound a little weird, but I definitely find myself doing that.
You know that I'ma keep it cool. With you I feel like breaking rules. On the edge, looking out with no parachute. You know I'm dreaming about us two, playing around without a clue. On the edge, leaning out.
all or nothing. Ooh, but guess I need more of you. With us it's all or nothing, but guess I need more of you. You say it during night, but in the morning you just leave. With us it's all or nothing. Ooh, but guess I need more of you.
And I also want to give you some encouragement, because I find that sometimes we get hanged up, especially as working moms, on not doing different projects because we can never find time for them. As you can see, this pantry was not kind of a one-time thing that I stood here for 2 days and organized the whole thing. I did the bottom one day, then I did the top. It's just kind of little pockets here and there, and eventually you're gonna have your finished product. So don't get discouraged if you don't have, a huge block of time. Just do a little bit at a time. And what you see me doing here, because I know it kind of looks funny, my cabinets are not very deep. So I was trying to make sure that I can actually close it when I put things in. So they were not nicely stacked like I would prefer them to be. Some of them you can see are sideways. So I just removed that label from the side to the front, or the other way around, depending how you look at the container. But it still looks so much nicer. So again, it's not about perfection, it's just making it more functional, so it saves me a lot of time. And the little thing I was also trying to tackle that day is to get rid of that wipe container. It has been driving me crazy lately. It's just, silly looking. It is something we use wipes, or the kids use wipes, whenever they're done eating, to wipe their hands off. So it's something that we do use daily, but it's kind of like an eyesore on the dining room table. So I bought a little container for the wipes themselves. And I also bought a container for the tissues. Now, because I use tissue bags from Costco, they don't fit, which I knew going in, but my daughter wanted to make sure that it doesn't fit. So I did put it in for her. But I found like this really cute gray looking bags for the tissues that kind of goes along with the decor we have in the house. And I find it's just those little things, little improvements that make the house just look more homey and kind of more elegant, even though it's still functional, because like I said, we use tissues, we use wipes. So it's not something I'm willing to put away in a cabinet every day. So this was just a perfect solution for me. And next is this cabinet. You have seen me do this cabinet if you have watched my videos before. I do it probably twice a year. It's a cabinet in our living room where my kids have all kinds of arts and crafts, and my daughter has a bunch of little toys in there. So I have to go through that, like I said, about every 6 months. Otherwise, it totally gets out of control. So now that we are getting ready to go back to school, this is always a perfect time for me to go through that. The second time I go through it is either around Christmas time or at the beginning of the year. So after Christmas, it kind of depends how bad it gets. But there's just so much stuff in there, so many papers, so many crafts. And especially my daughter tends to hold on to a lot of things. So this was probably the first time when she was willing to throw things away without me even asking. She would even ask me to throw things away that I thought she should keep. So I thought that was a win. She is 5 right now. She's starting kindergarten, and I think she's finally learning a little bit that, the less stuff she has, the more likely she is to actually play with it, because it just gets so cluttered. She cannot even see what she has there. So I was very proud of her that day for her to be throwing things away. And I have another video coming up probably in about 2 weeks where we are doing a major declutter and organization in the playroom. So definitely stay tuned for that. I was definitely able to throw a lot of things away. So a lot of great things coming up if you're looking for some motivation for organizing and decluttering your house.
With us it's all or nothing, but guess I need more of you. You say it during night, but in the morning you just leave. Had to convince my friends this time. Think you're toxic,
And also let me know in the comments, what are some of the things that your kids collect or use that is creating the most mess? I feel like for both of mine is the paper. They tend to do a lot of crafts, a lot of, like my son who's 9, he likes to create different types of like board games for himself and for, for Emilia, for my daughter as well. So there's just a lot of papers. She does like to do crafts. So if I don't go through that on a regular basis, it's just impossible to catch up. That cabinet tends to get overflown really quickly. And I try to stay on top of it, but like I said, it's sometimes hard because they are using things and I don't want to throw something away that they are actively playing with. But at the same time, it's, sometimes they have a hard time of just recognizing, hey, I'm not going to play with this anymore. I can throw it away. It still takes me to kind of ask, okay, can I throw this away? You haven't played with it in a long time. Sometimes, as I'm going through that, they will start playing with things I want to throw away because they haven't seen it in so long. So that makes it challenging as well. But let me know if it's also the paperwork for you or if they have some other toys. I think for the second most common thing for my daughter is like little toys. So she gathers them from different favors that she gets from parties when she goes to a birthday party or some other event. So they're usually, we usually put little things in there. So she has a lot of those that you're gonna see next in that white basket on the bottom shelf. Of course, she had to photo bump or video bump this part of the video. And she also gets a lot of them from those chocolate surprise eggs. She tends to collect those, and I really lately have been throwing them away as soon as she leaves the table because she will play with it for about 5 minutes, she will assemble it, and then she forgets about it. So I'm trying to do better so I don't have to go through this thing that I'm doing right now. I mean, you guys, this is ridiculous. It's so many different things. And like I said, she was better this time because she would let me throw it away. If I felt even as she was sitting right here, that she will have a hard time with something to let go, but I knew she doesn't play with it. I just that's why that bag is there, not anything that's very open, or I didn't create a pile. I just had a garbage bag and was just hiding it away because it was just getting to be too much. And I will tell you, after we were done, she had probably that basket was probably half full, and she played with it for a couple of weeks after that. Every day she would take it out and play with those toys because it was just so much easier to see what she has versus before. It was just a giant pile and it was just overwhelming to look at it, and she just ended up not playing with anything. So sometimes we just know better than the kids, that they need less stuff. But it's just, I know sometimes it's challenging when they try to help you and try to keep every little thing.
Why don't we say that it's too late for us now? Why do we stay when I blame you for the things that weigh me down? 'Cause in the echo of your silence, I only hear what's best for me. Yeah, in the echo of your silence, I'm thinking more of her. She who wants to study your body, who gets the better version of you. I need the bitter truth. I need the better version of you. I need the better version of you. I need the better you.
And as I was going through this cabinet, I also found few pieces of different things they have thrown or made. So you will see I put some of them on a different pile, and that is because I still want to keep some of them as a keepsake. So in my one of the previous videos, I have done like going through all the school paperwork and all the arts and crafts and putting them into a box. So I just simply, put them on the side here, and then eventually they made it down to the actual box. Later on, I didn't show it here, but I just put it into the boxes that I already created for them. So starting with a new school year, they're gonna kind of start with a new set of boxes for them. So I kind of do my keepsake boxes for the duration of the school year. It's just kind of easier that way for me. And next thing, as you can see over here, is we are sorting through all the crayons. That's another thing that they just, we keep on buying them and adding them to the pile. And there's a lot of them that were kind of, not working as far as like pencils or just broken and nobody's using them anymore. So we were just sorting through that, which is funny because a few weeks later we did that playroom declutter and I organized like a little homework area for them in there. And I actually took all the crayons and markers from this cabinet and put them in a playroom. So they did made it out of the living room, and eventually I am hopefully within a year, that I will be able to get rid of that cabinet in the living room altogether and put everything in their playroom. They are, older. They don't have to sit and do things by the dining room table. They have their dedicated table right now in our playroom. So it's just, but it's something down the line. My daughter is still in kindergarten, or she's starting kindergarten. So she still likes to, be closer to us a lot of the times and still bring stuff into the living room. So I am not getting rid of it yet, but that is definitely the plan. Down the line, I'm hoping when she goes to the first grade, we can get rid of this cabinet altogether. So a lot less stuff in here, as you can see, as compared to the before. It just feels so much better to have this done. As you can see, a lot of garbage to be taken out and 2 empty containers to be put away. And next and last thing on the list was doing the junk drawer. I have organized this junk drawer probably, I want to say a year ago, maybe even more. And it has been staying pretty good. I still have this kind of organized in a sense where I know where things belong. But as it goes with junk drawers, things tend to accumulate to a point where you kind of have to go through it again. So I had a good system going. I learned that from Condren from Do It on a Dime. And when you are organizing things, it's the best to organize it in a way where you put one item in kind of each section. So I had a section for like pens and pencils, and then just different types of things that go into a junk drawer. And I think junk drawer is the hardest to do that with because it's just a bunch of unrelated items that you put in there. But my daughter was again trying to help me here. So we just organized the pencils. I got rid of all the pencils that were from like different holidays because I find that those are just good for decoration. They don't really work well. They break all the time. So I keep them for a little bit because, kids are excited, especially my daughter, if it has like a holiday theme on it. But then it's just time to get rid of them because they never use it after that first day. So this one was a tedious task because again, this was just a lot of random stuff, but it definitely felt good when we were done with it. So let me know, how often do you go through your junk drawer? Is it something you just like to keep shut and not look at it, or do you regularly go through it to see what you have there and get rid of a bunch of stuff?
You talk about faith. Is it just something you say? The same with that girl you texted when I look away? 'Cause in the echo of your silence, I only hear what's best for me. Yeah, in the echo of your silence, I'm thinking more of her. She who wants to study your body, who
I was done with this, probably 2 days later, I was organizing another section in my kitchen and I found more clear containers in my basement. So I actually got rid of this green container that I put back inside, and everything right now is just all clear containers. So it even looks better simply because I found some additional boxes. But it still looks much more decluttered and organized, and I had little piles on my kitchen island of things that just needed to go, just random stuff. I mean, we had 2 measuring tapes in there, a bunch of buttons, I had some seeds, God knows why, some oils, some tapes, I mean, all kinds of stuff that we needed to go through, but again, it looks so much better. So I hope this video gave you some motivation to tackle your messy spaces in your house. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.
I get so caught up in the middle, thinking of drowning in those blue eyes. I'm losing sight 'cause I am falling. I'm so deep down, and it's not a lie that I die.